Hi, folks, and welcome to the preview show delivered by FedEx Racing. I'm Vince Cellini, alongside my pal here, senior interactive producer Bill Kimm. And Bill, this week we're headed to Dover. Dover.
Delaware.
The FedEx 400 Dover International Speedway. I think we know all about the track. High bank, concrete oval. It is one of the most challenging tracks in all of NASCAR. And for a mile track, Billy, you can really crank it up there. We'll see some good speeds.
Yeah, absolutely. Dover is one of the more exciting tracks on the circuit, and it's because of that. For a mile track, you can go really fast thanks to the banking that they have there. You're going to get your racing groove in on the inside, and that's where you're going to want to be, but you can go 2 wide, and we've even seen 3 wide here at Dover going into the turns, and they can maintain their speed. You're going to see 150, 160 miles an hour going into those turns, at least for an exciting race, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. At times it can be a little messy on the track, but the drivers seem to like DIS, and we talked to one of them, Marcus Ambrose, who finished in the top 10 in the last 2 races at Dover, talked about the challenges of the Monster Mile.
Well, Dover's just got a crazy track. It's 1 mile, it's high banks, concrete, the rubber packs into it. You know, as the race wears on, it becomes a real challenge to stay off the marbles on the outside groove and then stay off the rubber on the fast line. So for us, it's about getting a comfortable car in practice, knowing that the track's going to change a lot, give ourselves some adjustability in the setup of the car, and just drive flat out.
So certainly some techniques involved in negotiating DIS, and let's talk about some of the challenges to set up this week.
Yeah, nothing better than hearing an Australian like Marcos Ambrose describe the marbles at Dover and stuff. Hysterical. I love his accent. But no, he's spot on, and obviously because he's a driver. You know, you're going to get that rubber laid down in the racing groove like Marcos talked about, and it's all about setup. This track is concrete. It's not going to weather throughout the day or anything like that. The heat doesn't mess it up all that much. So these guys all weekend are going to be able to really fine-tune their cars. You want to be able to ride that inside line around Dover. That's the fastest way around the track. Also, we've been seeing it a lot recently. Darlington, Richmond, Charlotte, there are just not a lot of cautions. So at Dover, 400-mile race, there are not a lot of opportunities for these guys to make adjustments to this car and to get things the way they want them to. There's 2 things about pit road at Dover that are interesting. One, it's tough to get to. We see a lot of crashes because you're coming off the high banks, getting onto that flat pit road, and the reduction in speed, it's not easy to do. So you'll see some spin outs there. So they got to be careful there. But 2, if there are just a few opportunities, we saw it with Jimmie Johnson in the Coca-Cola 600, 1 mistake, just 1, can completely derail your entire race. You've got to be perfect on pit road.
Well, Hendrick Motorsports just visited Victory Lane for the 3rd week in a row, but this has been a Roush Fenway racetrack for the most part, save perhaps Jimmie Johnson. So does that tip us off as to where you might be leaning in terms of success here this week?
Well, this is an election year, right?
Yes.
So can I be a politician and say
Absolutely.
both? Can I say both teams are going to be fantastic here? No, this is going to be one of those things that is kind of tough to predict because Roush, we saw Greg Biffle lead 200-plus laps in the Coke 600, yet he ended up in victory lane. You know, Carl Edwards has been strong pretty much all season, but he doesn't have a win to show for it. Yet the Hendrick guys, we see Casey Kane, Jimmie Johnson, Jr.'s been strong all season as well. I really don't know which team I would consider like the powerhouse team going into Dover right now. An interesting thing about Dover, too, is that the past 4 races, we've had a different manufacturer in victory lane for each race. So lots of question marks going to Dover. I don't think there is a real favorite going into this track as far as team or manufacturer goes.
But having said that, so if it is that open, who exactly is your pick to win this week?
So while I said I don't think Roush is the team to pick, I'm going to go with Carl Edwards on this one. He's due for a win. It's been more than a year now. It is time for us to see a backflip once again. Carl Edwards is flat out fantastic at this track. Best average finish since 2007 here, I believe. I got to go with Carl Edwards.
Okay, once again, I will channel our producer,
you're gonna go simple.
Jason Sholin. Yeah.
You're going to do it again?
Yeah. It's just that I don't actually have the bed sheets and PJs for Jimmie Johnson.
The lunchbox?
No.
You didn't bring the lunchbox?
I don't have one, but that would be pretty cool. I wish I did have one of those. But I'll go with Jimmy, who's a 6-time winner at the track. 7 times in the last 8 he has finished in the top 10 here, and we have talked about him on the show here. Save for dragging a gas man out of the Coke 600. You know, he looked pretty good at Charlotte.
He could have won that one
as well. So he has certainly found something, and I think that, you know, once again, I'll go with 48.
You're vanilla. I'm Rocky Road. That's what are you going to do?
You know, we have to have that, though. Variety is the spice of life. That's going to do it for the preview show. For Bill Kimm, I'm Vince Cellini. Everybody, enjoy Dover.